So now we get to the fifth and final step, which is execute, or in Dalio's book, it's push through to completion. So a couple things that are important here. One is that he says that good work habits are vastly underrated. And so here I would just say, read Getting Things Done by Paul Allen. The other book I highly recommend is Atomic Habits by James Clear. Paul Allen. Where he really highlights how you can actually build habits in a very, very practical book. Probably the best book on habits out there right now. Highly, highly recommend you check it out. Second, he says that we need to establish clear metrics that help us establish how we're doing. And then if we see that we're not doing well, that's another problem that we can diagnose, right? So in my case, with the fundraising, money raised is a pretty obvious metric that we can use to track. We can then break it down by which person has raised how much money. We can also then see from which donors have we raised how much money, which can further help us diagnose and refine and tweak our algorithm. But we might also introduce a few new metrics, such as numbers of calls made, number of emails sent, number of meetings that we attended, and so forth, just to give us more data to sort of see in our process which part of the machinery is working well, and most importantly, which ones aren't working well. Where do we need to improve and further diagnose and then improve our process in order to reach our goals. So very important to have clear metrics. And then finally, he adds that almost as an afterthought, but he says that it's critical that you work with the right people in terms of that. He knows a lot of people that are very creative and visionary, but not very good at execution. And he says that even though those people are not good at execution, they've still managed to achieve outstanding success because they partnered with other people that were maybe a bit less visionary, but much, much better at execution. And together you create this really powerful synthesis that leads to massive, massive results. So work with right people. So that was it for the 5-step process. Now remember one more time the 5 steps. It's have clear goals, identify problems, don't tolerate them, Number 3, diagnose. Note they got at the root causes. Number 4 is design plan. And number 5 is execute. And it's also very important that you do these steps sequentially. So in other words, don't go to problems before you've clearly identified your goals. And also don't go to problem solving mode before you've clearly understood what the situation is, what the data says, what other highly believable people are saying. It's very important. And also don't start executing before the plan is properly laid out.